friends. My name is Miss Rebecca with the Shaler North Hills Library, and welcome to Storytime Express. I am coming to you from the past. I'm recording this on Wednesday, super late morning, early afternoon, and I hope you all enjoy. I've got a little theme going on this week. It is whales. I think whales are fantastic, and so they're just super special creatures. So I hope you enjoy these stories, my friends. Now, let's get started with our ABCs, just like we do for each and every single Storytime Express there is. Here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Very nice. Get those zeros out. Here we go. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What are we going to do now? We are going to count backwards from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Very nice. Here's our rockets. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. If you want to take a trip, climb aboard my rocket ship. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! My friends, we're jumping into our stories. Our first is authored by Eve Bunting, illustrated by Lambert Davis, and the title is Whales Passing. Look at that whale jumping up out of the water. Here we go. My dad and I stand in the scratchy grass at the cliff's edge and watch the whales go by. See them? There are 5. A pod, my father says. They're orcas, every one. They may have come from colder seas where icebergs float and break. Icebergs, blue, white, and polished by the sun. I watch the drifts that take their breaths. And then they dive deep, deep among the streams of fish and star dance light that fills their sea. How do they know which way to go? I ask. The sea is the same each way I turn, and the sky is empty too, except for pelicans, a kite-tail string of them across the blue. I bet those whales have signposts down below, an ocean mountain or a sunken ship, maybe another whale that tells them, "Follow me. We'll make a right at this white rock." That is, if whales can talk. Do you think whales can talk, friends? My father smiles. Of course they talk. They story tell each day they swim, from here to there and farther still. They whistle and make clicking sounds and squeal. They say a baby orca hears its mother's voice before it's born into the sea. And answers back? I ask. Maybe. So it sounds like these whales talk to each other, but different how we may think of talking to one another, with clicks and squeals and squeaks. We stay and watch them surface, spout, and dive. We watch until they disappear. All 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See the dad and little boy? I wonder if the whale saw us. "That was a boy," one whale would say. "He and his dad will surely talk of us and how they saw us pass." The small one's shirt was red as a sunset on the sea. His shorts sky blue. His socks blue too. Well, they lack our blubber, sad to say, but humans have no love of fat. Imagine that! No love of fat! The high whale laughter screeches through the sea, and other whales join in. No need to laugh, the first whale says. Those humans have their place, and we have ours. The thing is well arranged, a small whale says. She leaps a frolic leap and slaps her tail. Soon she will have her firstborn calf, and she is filled with joy. The whales think of the boy, and he of them. My dad and I saw whales, I'll tell my mom. They saw us too. I wonder when they talk down there, do bubbles bubble up? You think they talk? My mom will smile. Of course they do, I'll say, but not like you and me. They're gone now. My dad and I will come again and see the whales. For now, I'll hold this shell I found close to my ear and hear the sea, and I'll remember whales passing by. The end. Good listening, my friends. Give yourselves a little round of applause. Very nice. Okay, let's see what the whales are up to next. In our second story by Julia Donaldson and Alex Scheffler, The Snail and the Whale. So you see the whale there, and then who's that riding on the whale's tail? The snail. I think that snail's brave. The Snail and the Whale. This is the tale of a tiny snail and a great big gray-blue humpback whale. This is a rock as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. The sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock, and as she gazed she sniffed and sighed, "Oh, the sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail," said the tiny snail. These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't giggle, sit still, stay put." But the tiny sea snail sniffed and sighed, then cried, "I've got it! I'll hitch a ride!" This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail that looped and curled and said, "Ride wanted around the world." This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright, a humpback whale immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. And this is the tale of the humpback whale. He held it out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come sail with me." Snail's getting on. This is the sea, so wild and free, that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far-off lands, with fiery mountains and golden sands. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. These are the caves beneath the waves where the colorful fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam past the whale and the snail on his tail. Look at those hideous grins. This is the sky, so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. And she gazed at the sky, the sea, the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, "I feel so small." But then came the day the whale lost his way. These are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim too close to the shore. This is the tide slipping away. And this is the whale lying beached in a bay. "Quick, off the sand, back to sea!" cried the snail. "I can't move on land. I'm too big," moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then, "I've got it!" she cried and started to crawl. "I must not fail," said the tiny snail. This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, "Sit straight, don't talk." This is the board as black as soot, and this is the snail with the itchy foot. "A snail! A snail!" The teacher turns pale. "Look," say the children, "it's leaving a trail." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, "Save the whale!" These are the children running from school, fetching the firemen, digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whales cool. This is the tide coming into the bay, and these are the villagers shouting, "Hooray!" as the whale and the snail travel safely away. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said, "How time's flown, and haven't you grown?" And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves, and shooting stars and enormous waves, and of how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of the humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the gray-blue humpback whale. The end, my friends. I think that's a really wonderful adventure story. Who would ever team up a whale and a snail? But it worked out really well for both of them. The snail got to see all over the world and saved the humpback whale. And the humpback whale made a really good friend too. Okay, my friends, our nonfiction selection for today. Ocean life up close. Humpback whales. So I figure we just read this story that had a fictional humpback whale in it, and now we'll read a story that is a true story and learn a little about real humpback whales. And like a lot of nonfiction stories, we've got our table of contents, which tells us just where to go. What are humpback whales, my friends? Humpback whales are huge mammals famous for their songs. Males sing together underwater. Humans once hunted these animals until few remained. Today, humpback whales are protected. Their numbers are healthy and continue to grow. These whales mainly stay in shallow waters. Humpbacks must come to the surface to breathe. Their two blowholes take in air. See the blowhole? Kind of looks like a belly button. They also surface to breach or slap the water with their fins. This is a picture of a humpback whale breaching. Species spotlight, humpback whales. Lifespan, more than 50 years. Depth range, that means how far they go down into the ocean, 0 to 656 feet. And humpback whale range, so this is a map of the world, and where it's orange, those are all the places that humpback whales are. So it's a lot of places. Humpback whales measure up to 62 feet long. They are longer than a school bus. Some weigh 40 tons. I always love when they do this in a book about an animal. So here's a humpback whale, and here's the average size of a human. So you can kind of just understand just how ginormous humpback whales are. The whale's name comes from the hump under its dorsal fin. That's a picture of its dorsal fin. Their bodies are black or gray with some white on the underside. Humpback flukes each have their own special pattern. These are the flukes or the whale's tail. A long flipper is on each side of a humpback's body. Bumps dot humpback's head. Humpback whales have comb-like baleen instead of teeth. Baleen trap food inside their mouths. Krill make up most of the humpback's diet. The omnivores also eat small fish and plankton. So here's what the baleen looks like. And then here's a picture of some of the little bits that they eat. Some humpbacks hunt together. They trap prey with a net of bubbles. Whale noises help scare the prey toward the surface. Then the whales swim up for a big gulp of food. Whoop. Each year, most humpback whales travel thousands of miles. In summer, they migrate to chilly waters to find krill. Some pods head south toward Antarctica. Others swim north to the Arctic. So Antarctica is down south, and the Arctic is up north. In winter, the whales return to warmer waters. There, females give birth to the baby whales. A female has one calf every few years. The calf stays close to mom for 1 year. This pair touches fins to show love. Male humpbacks may sing together for hours. All singers in an area know the same song. Songs change with time, but why humpbacks sing is a mystery. Humans have much to learn about these grand animals. Now then, because it's a nonfiction book, it has a wonderful glossary in the back, and that has different words that have been bolded throughout the book. Their definitions. So baleen, plates of material that hang down from the top jaw of the toothless whales. Calf, a baby humpback whale. Flukes, the two halves of a humpback whale's tail fin. Migrate, to travel from one place to another, often with the seasons. So my friends, that was our nonfiction selection this week about humpback whales. Now we're cruising into our final story. It is a bit very imaginative, very make-believe, but it's so fun to imagine make-believe worlds. And Ida definitely imagines a make-believe situation. Ida and the Whale by Rebecca Guger and Simon Roethlisberger. Ida and the Whale. Here we go. There was once a little girl named Ida who lived in a birch tree. She had yellow rubber boots and red hair. See Ida sitting there? Ida often sat high up outside her treehouse, wondering what lay beyond the sun, the moon, and the stars. One night, the treehouse suddenly began to shake. It shook so hard that her bed began to slide here and there and everywhere. What was happening? Wow! Outside was a gigantic flying whale. "Why are you waking me in the middle of the night?" asked Ida, still half asleep. "Would you like to come with me on a journey beyond the stars?" asked the friendly whale. "What What an adventure! Of course Ida wanted to go with him. In a flash, she had climbed the ladder, and then the two of them flew up and up and up toward the world beyond. As they flew through the middle of a thick curtain of clouds, they talked about all kinds of things, big and little, ordinary and special, known and unknown. They soon reached a very strange place. Everything seemed to be upside down. What was the top and what was the bottom? So now what is normal? Asked Ida. Sometimes you can only understand others if you stand on your head yourself. They flew upside down until they came to a beautiful green place that was full of sweet scents. Why is the flower flying away? Asked Ida. So that it can grow again like the rest of us, said the whale. Some quicker, some slower, but all of us grow. Suddenly, thunder rumbled softly, but then it became louder and louder. More and more clouds began to pile up, and dazzling flashes of lightning shot out of them. The storm was wild and violent and left nothing untouched. I'm glad there are two of us, thought Ida. Slowly, slowly, the storm calmed down, and then everything was still and empty. Just wait, and then look again, said the whale. Sometimes there's more to see than you think. Ida listened to the silence for quite a while, and suddenly she felt lonely and a long way from home. She was so small and so alone. Where was her friend? Where do you think her friend is? The whale gave Ida a nudge. Why are you so sad, my little friend? He asked. I'm right here. Sometimes it's nice to share a silence. Sometimes you can even lose sight of each other, but you're still close together, always. Ida's loneliness flew far away. I love you, my flying giant, whispered Ida as the two of them said goodbye. See you soon, see you soon, they shouted to each other, and the whale disappeared behind the trees. The end, my friends. My friends, you guys have been wonderful listeners. Give yourselves a big giant round of applause. Now, for the end of story time, as always, we have our make-believe stamp, just like a make-believe giant whale that can fly into space. So shut your eyes. If you have on a long sleeve, push it up. Now, think of what you want your stamp to be. Do you want it to be a snail or maybe a classroom? Do you want it to be a whale? It could be anything. It could be a tree house. Okay. Get your make-believe stamp, put it in your ink, pop it on your arm. I went with a little snail. My friends, thank you so much for spending your super precious time with us, and we'll see you again next time. Bye, friends. See ya.